So here is the Zoshia armor set in all of its glory, and boy does it look amazing. And even the weapons look fantastic. Look at the design of that sword and shield. That said, why the hell does the hammer look like this? It's just a freaking cement block that when you charge it, it opens up like this. I guess that's a cool detail. Anyways, we're here to talk about the Zoshia armor set, the different pieces it has, and its set bonus, Super Recovery. If you played Monster Hunter World, this is pretty similar to how the Valhazak set bonus worked, and it's honestly quite interesting and may bring a lot of value to you. I'm still working on testing the White Flame Torrent for the weapons, because this one is actually breaking my head. So the set bonus, Zoshia's Pulse, has 2 levels, with Super Recovery 1 requiring only 2 armor pieces, and the description reads that it will allow the health gauge to continue to slowly recover up to the maximum value, even if there is no red portion on your health. And Super Recovery 2, which requires to have 4 pieces from the Zoshia armor set, has pretty much the same description, except they removed the slowly from the description, implying that you'll be able to recover your health much quicker, but we'll get to that in a moment. So if I set the training dummy to do damage like this, as I take damage, I'm going to get the red portion of my health, and then I'm left with the rest of my HP bar, which you can see is being slowly recovered over time, whereas traditionally only the red portion of my health would have been healed. So in order to properly test this set bonus, I had a couple of different methods. I first did what I called the tanking test, which is basically to see how many hits I was able to take before I was taken down with the 2-piece set bonus and the 4-piece set bonus, and making sure that the version with the 2-piece set bonus had the same amount of defense as the one with the 4-piece set bonus, as that can give you a more practical idea of how much HP you're going to be recovering over time if you are constantly getting hit. Now for this tanking test, I did not have recovery up on either of these, but I did have recovery speed 1 on both of these tests, and it's important to mention that both of these skills are actually impactful when it comes to testing the efficiency of super recovery. But it's important to make the distinction between the two different skills, because recovery speed will hasten the process of you recovering the red portion of your health, so you'll get that back much quicker. However, when you no longer have red health, recovery speed stops having effect, whereas recovery up, it quite simply is going to increase the amount of healing that you get from any source in the game, including of course the set bonus super recovery. Now that might lead you to think that recovery up is by far much better than having recovery speed, but also having just a little bit of recovery speed is going to allow you to get over all of that red health much quicker and start the process of the passive healing of super recovery that much sooner. And as you will see, the passive healing that you get and the changes that it gets by having recovery up at all different levels may not be what you expect. Now I should also mention the reason why all of these tests have recovery speed on them. It's because a couple of these armor pieces, specifically the helmet as well as the greaves, already come with recovery speed level 1. So given that you need 4 armor pieces in order to of course get the 4-piece set bonus, you need at least recovery speed level 1, so that's that. And for the record, these tanking tests were all done with the training set to smash mode with the highest level of strength. So first on the tanking test, I went with super recovery 1, that is to say the 2-piece set bonus, and I made sure that that had the same defense as when I went with the 4-piece set bonus. And with just recovery speed level 1 helping me out, I was able to tank 12 hits and cart it on the 13th hit. However, when I moved on to do the same test with the 4-piece set bonus with super recovery 2, again with the same amount of defense and with only recovery speed 1, I actually only tanked 11 hits and died on the 12th hit. So that may account for some errors or some small discrepancies between these tests. Now I wanted to see how much having more points in recovery speed would help me out, as when I was doing both of these tests, I always had red health, meaning that the Zoshia super recovery never really went into effect. So when I went with the 4-piece set bonus or super recovery 2 and with recovery speed 2, I went from carting on the 12th hit to tanking 15 hits and carting on the 16th. Overall, a much better improvement. And then with the same setup, super recovery 2 and with recovery speed 3, I tanked 16 hits and carted on the 17th. So it looked like the difference between having recovery speed 1 and 2 was pretty big, but the difference between recovery speed 2 and 3 was much smaller. This is of course going to vary depending on the hits that you take. So if you take a full powered blast from Zoshia, you're going to end up with a ton of red health, and having recovery speed 3 would be much more helpful in that case. But I wanted to have this tanking test to give you a good perspective perspective on how you would be able to tank much more by having additional levels of recovery speed, so that if you are constantly getting hit, you can actually recover the red health and enjoy the benefits of having super recovery. Now, of course, a lot of the time you're not going to be getting hit constantly throughout the hunt, so that is where the second test comes in. And this one was much simpler. My second testing method was pretty much just how fast you would passively regenerate your health over time with the Zoshia armor sets with both Super Recovery 1 and Super Recovery 2, so the 2-piece set bonus and the 4-piece set bonus, and each of them with different levels of the skill recovery up. Because like I said, recovery up does actually increase the amount of health that you heal over time, and thus will allow you to regenerate your health a little bit quicker, so you'll be able to tell for yourself if it actually makes it a worthwhile investment to go for recovery up, or if it's a small trade-off in your opinion. Now, the way to properly test this was a little bit tricky, because I couldn't just walk up to the target dummy, take damage, then put on the armor set and watch as I recover health. Because when you approach the item box to change your equipment, it actually recovers your health to full. So what I did was basically try to take as much damage and get as closer to 0 HP as possible, and only start the timer from the point that the health bar reaches that small vertical bar on my HP bar. That's when I would start the timer up until I regained all of my health and got that flashing green indicator. Because of this testing method, there might be a 1-second disparity here and there, but the results will speak for themselves. So I started by using Super Recovery 1 or the 2-piece set bonus from Zoshia, and again making sure that I have the same defense when I do these tests, and the time it took me to recover all of my health from that threshold up until it was full and with 0 recovery up was 4 minutes and 11 seconds or 251 seconds. Then I tested the same thing but with recovery up level 1, and this time it took me 3 minutes and 54 seconds or 234 seconds, so 17 seconds shorter than before. Then with recovery up level 2, it took me 3 minutes and 36 seconds or 216 seconds to recover the full health, which is 18 seconds faster than with recovery up level 1. So you might think that with recovery up level 3 it would also be an 18 or 19 second difference, right? Well, with recovery up level 3, it took me 3 minutes and 34 seconds or 214 seconds to recover all of the health, which is a 2-second difference from recovery up level 2. I honestly don't know what to tell you, but the numbers speak for themselves. Now, of course, we also need to do the same testing with the 4-piece set bonus, aka Super Recovery 2, so that is what I did. Without having the skill recovery up, and with Super Recovery 2, it took me 128 seconds or 2 minutes and 8 seconds, which is almost twice as fast than it was with Super Recovery 1. Then with Recovery Up level 1, it took me 117 seconds or 1 minute and 57 seconds, so 11 seconds faster than not having Recovery Up. Then with Recovery Up level 2, it took me 1 minute and 48 seconds or 108 seconds, which is 9 seconds faster than with Recovery Up level 1. And finally, Recovery Up level 3, it took me 1 minute and 46 seconds or 106 seconds to recover all of that health. So once again, 2 seconds quicker than with Recovery Up level 2. At this point, I don't know if Recovery Up is not working as intended, maybe it's the testing that I did, but these were the conclusions that I came to even when I repeated the tests. So ultimately, when it comes to the Zoshia set bonus, Super Recovery, you actually do get a decent amount of health regen, especially with the 4-piece set bonus with Super Recovery 2. Being able to passively regenerate pretty much in just a little bit over 2 minutes can be quite good, but when compared to something like the Guardian Arkfeld set bonus Decimator that whenever you break a wound, you immediately gain a bunch of health, it just doesn't feel quite as good, especially given that this is not going to work if you have red health, which if you step foot into a fiery place because you're fighting against Zoshia, for example, or if you get hit with those very small jabs that the monsters do every once in a while, that while these attacks don't flinch you, they're going to do damage and leave you with some red health, well, it's going to be as if you didn't have any set bonus active whatsoever. And from my testing, I would argue that having recovery speed is going to be much more beneficial than having recovery up, because again, you want to make sure that you don't have red health to then get the set bonus to become active all of the time. It's still going to take a long time for it to actually recover a meaningful amount of health, enough to make a difference to where if you get hit again, you don't actually card from it. set. And that is where the crux of the issue lies with this set bonus. I don't think you're able to recover enough health in a short amount of time to the point where it warrants having this set bonus. But what ends up happening is the fact that the Zoshia armor set has so many great armor pieces that are pretty much just a vertical upgrade over things that we already have and use in the game, that you may end up getting the set bonus super recovery at least level 1 as a bonus for using a couple of Zoshia armor pieces, because again, they're so good. So that is what we're going to be talking about right now. We're going to be going over each of the different armor pieces and some combinations you're going to be able to do that prove that yes, this is one of the very best armor sets in the entire game. So let's go here and visit Gemma and her new friend. And right away, out of all of these pieces, I think the beta version is the better option for all of them, as you just get so many great decoration slots out of them. And the only one that you could argue the alpha would be better would be the waist, in my opinion, but it ends up being the same since you get 2 points in coalescence with the alpha version, whereas the beta only gives you 1, but it gives you a level 2 decoration slot, which is what you require to get another point of coalescence. But the helmet is a fantastic piece, one of the best helmets in the entire game, and the crazy part is that there are 2 better pieces than this in the entire set. It gives you Agitator 1 with 3 decoration slots, 1 for level 1, 1 for level 2, and 1 for level 3, a level 3, a level 2, and a level 1, and also you get recovery speed level 1, which as we mentioned actually works quite well with the set bonus. Then the chest piece gives you Agitator level 2, which is of course a level 3 decoration slot skill, and you also get a level 3 decoration slot on top, so in terms of efficiency you get a very good chest piece. The Van Braces I'm a little iffy on. It gives you elemental absorption level 2, which is nice to get more sources of this as we don't get a lot of them, but it's really not that great as a skill. If it were better, this would be a huge deal, but you also get some good decoration slots, again a level 3 and a level 1. We already talked about the waist. It's very impressive, giving you 2 very powerful skills. And finally the greaves, I'm kinda iffy on these. Counter Strike is a nice skill, but it's a level 2 decoration slot, and recovery speed and elemental absorption I could leave it or take it, but it has good decoration slots nonetheless with a level 2 and a level 3. So ultimately something that I think people are going to be doing, and I'm also going to be making builds using this as a groundwork, and I think it's going to be very effective, is having 2 pieces from Zoshia, so the helmet and the chest piece, which again are both fantastic. Also having the 2-piece Gormagala, since they're so powerful and give you affinity and raw damage, and then throwing in the Guardian Arcvel Van Braces for 2 points of weakness exploit, the Guardian Ebony Braces Alpha for 2 points of burst, or maybe even the Guardian Fulgur Engineath Van Braces for maximum might with potentially 3 levels of maximum might. Then you throw in an Exploiter Charm, bada bim bada boom, you end up with 4 levels of weakness exploit, 3 levels of agitator, and of course the Black Eclipse and super recovery without adding any decorations. So it's going to be a very flexible set that you're going to be able to play around, that might not necessarily be the top of the meta, but it's something that you can work with pretty much any weapon, and you're going to get good results with it. But with that being said, I'm going to be doing a lot more testing for the things we got for Title Update 1, such as the Mizutsune Bubbly Dance, which I think a lot of people are overlooking. It has some really surprising effects, and of course the Zoshia weapons and its unique skill, since they might potentially be the best weapons in the game right now, though it does take a lot of testing to get this done right. So if you want to support me, please like the video and subscribe to the channel, as it does help me out a lot. With that being said, my name is Dark Hero, thank you all so much for watching, and as always, happy hunting!